Hey everybody, Sylvester Stallone's getting divorced. I'm making this in early September 2022, and I had several subscribers ask me to talk about what I think about the Stallone divorce. My name's Jonathan Noble. I'm a divorce and family law attorney licensed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Now, I know I have thousands of subscribers all over the world, so you should know that what I say in these videos is what? Not legal advice, right? You can only get legal advice from an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction, but I could still talk about what I see through the lens of a divorce lawyer. This is a fascinating case because why? It brings up a ton of complicated issues that you ought to know about and think about, whether you're married or thinking about getting married or remarried. Let me get started. Obviously, Sylvester Stallone, 76 years old, was served with a divorce complaint by Jennifer Flavin, 54 years old, his spouse of about 25 years. And they are domiciled in Florida, which is an equitable distribution state, as opposed to a community property state. So their marital assets will be divided as the court sees fit in an equitable way by going through certain factors that I'll talk about. But in Florida, there's basically a 7-step approach. And a lot of states have this approach too, although it may not be codified or articulated. The first thing that their lawyers need to do is identify the date of separation. And the date of separation is often litigated, hotly litigated in certain cases. Why? Because once they're no longer a couple, then anything that they may earn after they're no longer together is a separate asset. So if you can just remember, everything that is earned from the day you say I do to the day you say I don't, and you're no longer together, is a marital asset. What makes this case fascinating is, I don't know if there's a prenup, and if there is it going to be upheld under Florida law? So that's number one. You'd think somebody with his stature, even 25 years ago, would have had a prenup, but I've seen guys just get stupid when they're getting married. I think he tattooed a picture of her face on his arm. Probably not a good idea to do that if you're watching this, because it's hard to get rid of a tattoo. But be that as it may, once they determine the date of separation, then the divorce can move forward, because if they don't have a date of separation, it'll have to be litigated, and that's very expensive, a lot of evidence. In many jurisdictions, you can live separate and apart under the same roof and be considered separate or separated. Other jurisdictions, you have to physically be apart. Some jurisdictions allow you to sleep together once or twice because those jurisdictions want you to try to reconcile if possible. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if the date of separation could be stipulated to or agreed to. That will expedite the process of then identifying what's a marital asset and what's not a marital asset. So let's say, hypothetically, he doesn't have a valid prenup or any prenup or postnup. And they have to decide, okay, what was earned during the marriage so we know how big the pie is going to be. So pretty much all the debts and all the assets during that 25 years will go in the pie. And that's not going to bode well if she was a stay-at-home mom and he was an earner and he was a great supporter of him and the family. A lot of those assets, even though he earned them, and I know this doesn't sound fair, but that's the way the law is, she'll get at least half. But in my opinion, based on my limited knowledge of the facts of the case, she's going to get more than half if it doesn't settle. And here's why. Under Florida law, and again, I'm not giving you legal advice. If you want legal advice, go see my friend down in Tampa, William Foley. I did a video with him. It's going to be pinned in the description below. In Florida, the courts have to begin with the premise that the marital estate will be divided equally. All right, so they start off at 50-50. But there's a laundry list of factors that the court needs to consider when they make a final agreement. One is the contribution of the marriage to the marriage by each spouse, including the contributions to the care and education of the children and services as a homemaker. So if Sly is out in Hollywood making movies and doing all the things that he's doing, or he might have other business ventures, production companies, endorsements, and she's home raising their 3 children, that's a huge factor in her favor, all right? Why? Because she gave up her opportunities, possibly. Now, maybe she wouldn't have had the same kinds of financial opportunities that he did, but it's something that the courts in Florida are going to consider. Economic circumstances of the parties. So if she has a net worth of maybe $5-10 million, and he has a net worth of $300 million, they're going to make that, they're going to move some of that money over to her side. Duration of the marriage. This is a 25-year marriage. Not 1 year or 2 years. 25 years they've been together. Working against them. It's going to work against them unless the case settles. Any interruption of personal careers or educational opportunities of either party. Again, if she's staying at home and she's taking care of the kids and stopped her modeling career or whatever she was pursuing, she's going to get a bigger piece of the pie. And there's a bunch of other factors. You can go online and look up Florida Statute 61.075. That's Florida Statute 61.075, or just Google equitable distribution factors in Florida. It's not looking good unless this can somehow settle, or if he has a valid prenup that'll be upheld in Florida. So I'm going to make another couple of videos about this fascinating divorce. Leave a comment if there's something you want me to answer about it through the lens of a divorce lawyer. Subscribe. Love to have you as part of the community. And like the video. It helps the algorithm. See you in a minute.